Okay, thank you for joining today on this lovely, lovely afternoon. My name is Jennifer Bento-Pinion. I've been here at MEFA for almost 6 years as program manager for MEFA Pathway. And one of my favorite aspects of what I do here at MEFA is to be able to work directly with you, families and educators, helping to support your students towards post-secondary planning. I have 2 kids myself. My daughter just graduated from the University of New Hampshire last spring, and my son is in the midst of a rather interesting gap year. I actually homeschooled them willingly up until my daughter hit grade 9 and my son was in grade 5. So I can relate with the challenges presented with remote learning. Although different from you, I had time to plan, whereas a lot of you were thrown in. So that said, MEFA is here to support you however we can. And MEFA Pathway is a wonderful resource that students can utilize for college and career planning. Some of your students may use this as an alternative to what their schools use in their schools. Some schools are using Naviance or MassCIS. But regardless, students can create an account in MEFA Pathway and take advantage of all the great resources we have to offer. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. If you're using the app on your phone, the GoToWebinar app, in order to view the presentation, you just swipe right on your screen. So you don't have to look at me the entire time. You can look at what I'm presenting. And then you can always swipe back left if you want to get back to the webcam. So I'm going to keep everyone on mute throughout the presentation. And then what I'll do is I will take questions at the end, so you can just type them in the little question box. So we'll probably take 15 to 20 minutes. This is one of our mini webinars. We're going to focus on Mass State benefits today. So we're excited to announce this is a fairly new feature within the site. And as an initiative out of the Executive Office of Education, the Mass State benefits feature allows for students to learn how to save on the cost of education by looking at options through a cost reduction plan. So students create plans showing various combinations of cost reduction options to determine an estimate of savings when a student starts at a community college and then potentially transfers to a 4-year college or university. MEFA Pathway itself helps to support and guide students as they plan for their future. So, this is, again, just one little piece of all the great features that we offer. So the registration process is very, very simple. So I'm just going to show you how a student would access that. So we're on the website here on the main landing page, which is mefapathway.org. Now your student would come onto this page and click I am a student. And then as a first-time user, they would click register here and go through that registration process. So it takes maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. What we find is that the thing that gets students hung up is creating security questions for some reason. So they put their first name, last name, date of birth, they select the city or town that their school is in, and then once they do that, all of the schools within a particular city or town will appear on this drop-down menu, so they do want to select the school that they are affiliated with. The second page of the registration, they will put in an email address, they create a username, a password, and those 2 security questions. So if they forget their username or password, they can reset by the security questions or the email address. They would get an email with a reset link. So very simple again. So once they create those credentials, they will then, when they come in, subsequently get onto that login page and pop in their username and password. So I have a very robust test account here that I am going to show you here. So I'm logging in, and what we see first off, what the student sees first off, is their dashboard. So the students, the purpose of the student's dashboard is to bring them kind of to what activities they should be looking at per their grade level. So my test account here is that of an 11th grade student. So I'll just scroll down quickly to show you. So in 11th grade, the student should be updating their profile, creating a resume, updating their course plan, maybe retaking the assessment tests, etc. So this helps the student, maybe if they're not being guided by an educator or a parent, this gives them a good way to see what they should be working on within the site. So the Mass State Benefits feature is located under the Pay for College tab. So we go Pay for College. And then what the student wants to do first is they want to create maybe a list, more than one of these options for them to look at. So we're going to I'll just do a little example here. So if we want to start at, and we just click the box, and then we have all of the community colleges within Massachusetts that participate in these programs. So let's select, let's say our student wants to start at Middlesex Community College, and then maybe they would like to transfer. As you can see, all of the public universities that participate as well. Maybe they want to transfer from Middlesex Community College to UMass Lowell. So we just select the schools, and the system automatically brings up this page where we have the 3 programs that are offered. So we have the Gen Ed Foundation program, and you can see there's specifics to that program here. And then we have the A to B program, and you can see the estimated cost savings based on the schools we selected. And then we have the Commonwealth Commitment program. So the student can look at these, the difference in the savings. So maybe the student says, wow, this Commonwealth Commitment program looks wonderful. Let's save this plan. So click save. The student can, this pops up, but they can rename this if they like, and they just click save. So once they start saving, and they can save as many plans as they like, once they start saving plans, then they will appear on this My Mass Benefits page. So we have this is the Mass State Benefits, is where they create the different programs. And then on the My Mass Benefits page is the listing of the plans that the student has saved. So as you can see, we just created this one here, this middle one, and it appears on this list. So the student can then add more plans if they like to. So, you know, when they're starting to look at these plans, it potentially would be, you know, in and around maybe their sophomore or junior year, when they're really starting to get serious about what they want to do following high school graduation. So once they start creating those plans, they can then apply the different plans to 2 other areas in the site. So the first one I'll show you is located under Search for Colleges. It's the College Comparison tool. So the College Compare is used for when the student is starting to think about schools that they actually want to apply to. So again, definitely their junior year, maybe even the start of their senior year, but we really encourage junior year to be, you know, kind of when they're starting to explore the possibilities of schools that they want to apply to. So the student can select schools that they've added to their college list, and they can also apply those Mass State Benefits plans. So just as an example, let's say the student wants to look at, let's add these. We're going to add Salem State. We're going to add UMass Amherst. Let's add University of New Hampshire, and then maybe let's add Northeastern. Although is that, we got 4, I think we can add up to 5. So let's add 4 colleges from our college list. We're finished adding, and then we want to apply one. Let's just apply this. Well, actually, let's apply this Salem State, because we have Salem State on on our college list. All right, so now you can see we have the five colleges that we've selected, and 4 colleges rather, in the one Mass State Savings Plan. And then what the student can do is they can apply preferences as well. So they're going to set their preferences, and they can go through and say, okay, I want to look at a school that's 7 to 14,000 students. I want to be in either a suburban or a small town setting. The tuition, maybe they're, okay, I want to stick to 10 to 25,000 a year. Admission difficulty, GPA, maybe they have a GPA between 3 and 3.5. Let's pop that in. They can also put in ACT and SAT scores as well. So now what we want to do, since we've selected those preferences, is we want to save our comparison. So I typically just put a date here. So what's today? Today's the 12th. So we can save, and as you can see, the student can save as many comparisons as they like, so they can refer back to those later. And so now the system will, we save the comparison, and now we're going to come back and show that comparison. So now a nice chart will be generated showing those schools that we selected here. So we have the 4 going across, and then we have our Mass State Benefits Plan. So now the student can also see if the schools, are the Commonwealth Commitment Schools and early college program, if they participate in those programs. So you can see the key factors here. We can see the undergraduate information. We can see the estimated tuition and fees. So if we go across, we can really get a feel for the difference in the tuition and fees. So the Mass State Benefits Plan, those saved benefits plan, they do not include room and board. So their calculations are based off the program, and it's an estimate, because typically if a student goes to a community college for the first 2 years, they're not staying on campus. So that takes that into consideration. So again, we're looking at academic information, and the student can really see where they fit in with that. So they're thinking about building out a list of target, reach, and safety schools. So they can, again, look at up to 5. They could put 5 Mass State Benefits programs in there if they wanted, but they can also look at the cost savings of if they started off at a 4-year university as opposed to starting off at a community college and then transferring. So that's how the student applies the Mass State Benefits plans to the College Compare. And then the other spot where the student can apply those Mass State benefits are under the Pay for College tab, and it's the college cost calculator. So the college cost calculator is typically used for when the student has actually been accepted into a school and they have a financial aid award letter that they can have right out in front of them and put in their awards. So what the student does is, they have one all set up here for you. They add each of those schools, and then, for example, I'll just click the little edit button here. The school tuition and fees is automatically brought in from the system along with the room and board. And then the student goes down and adds, estimate of books and supplies, any extra expenses. And then again, they're looking right at that financial aid award letter and saying, and popping in the numbers right from that letter. So maybe they've received a $5,000 institutional scholarship along with a $400 state scholarship, and they have, they can apply any outside scholarships here. So once they start adding in those numbers, they can put in work study, other resources. Maybe they have a grandparent that has, $5,000 saved for their college fund. So then the system automatically, you click calculate my cost gap, and the numbers will populate an annual cost gap along with a 4-year cost gap. So in purple here, we can see that this, where did we have here? So students started at Northern Essex and transferred on to, or potentially transferring on to Salem State. So we're looking at the cost savings. as opposed to, or kind of in comparison to, if they went directly to Bridgewater State. So then this gives the student a really great indication of how much money they could potentially save, and in turn leads them to make a really informed, well-informed college decision. So wonderful tool to use, again, for both the College Compare and the College Cost Calculator. All right, so do we have any, that kind of wraps up the Mass State benefits. Do we have any questions out there? I will leave up my contact information on a slide for you to get in touch with me directly if you have any questions that you don't want to type in the chat box. I'll give a minute for questions here. Anyone have any questions? Oh, I don't see any. All right, let me get my contact slide out here. And let's see. We've got, let's put it up so you can see it. All right. So I thank you for joining today. And if you have any questions, certainly don't hesitate to reach out to us here at the College Planning Team. Again, my name is Jennifer, and I'm the program manager for this great free resource that MEFA offers to all students and educators and families across the Commonwealth. So thank you for joining.